Yeah, President Trump's surprise attack on Congress's COVID relief bill has aid for millions of Americans hanging in the balance. His unpredictability isn't at all that surprising, but his actions are leaving many confused. Bloomberg White House reporter Jordan Fabian joins us now from Washington, D.C. Jordan, it's great to have you here. You've reported on Trump for some time now. What was going through your head last night when you heard that he was making these comments? There, you see him right there on the bill and trying to do with these last minute changes.
Yeah, you said it right. The president is a famously unpredictable leader, but I have to say that this appears to be one of the most unpredictable moments of his presidency because alongside this new threat to COVID relief, he's forging ahead with this effort to try and overturn the results of the election, which so far hasn't succeeded, but he hasn't given it up even after the Electoral College voted and the rest of the Republican Party has begun to abandon him. So the president is leaving a lot of people in Washington scratching their heads. But of course, this threat now against the COVID relief bill is it could have a real precipitous effect for many, many Americans who are counting on this aid as virus cases continue to spike.
Okay, so I want to talk about that, Jordan. What does it mean for Americans getting relief? Not just these direct payments, but the programs that were supposed to be extended. Moratorium on evictions, unemployment insurance being extended, those sorts of things.
That's right. Those were programs that were authorized under the first COVID relief package, the CARES Act, and those are expiring soon. So you said it right. The eviction protections, expanded unemployment benefits are going away unless this bill is passed in some form. And on top of that, small businesses were also counting on new access to loans under the Paycheck Protection Program, which was in this new bill. There was money for distributing vaccines for the airlines, which have been struggling, and for reopening schools. And all of that now is in jeopardy because the president has basically said to Congress, no, I don't like this, try again.
Jordan, I want to make sure that our viewers understand what exactly President Trump's comments meant last night. He talked about foreign aid. He talked about money going to the Kennedy Center. He mentioned a range of programs that were receiving government support that had nothing to do with COVID relief. But it, at the same time, seemed like he didn't have a full understanding of what was being presented to him because it wasn't just a stimulus bill. It was a government spending bill. Can you explain the differences there and why the American people and the president might be confused about what's before him?
Yeah, right. So to take a step back, what happened in Congress is that they're staring down the end of their year and the end of the Congress. So they essentially waited until the very last minute, not only to get this new stimulus package out, but also the big annual bill to fund government operations through next year. And so to speed it up, the process, essentially, they attached the stimulus bill to the government spending bill. And a lot of the things that the president was talking about in that video last night were actually in the government spending bill and not in the COVID relief bill. And he, in his remarks, though, had kind of conflated the two measures and was saying that this is not focused on COVID relief. There's money going to foreign countries and the Kennedy Center and things like that. But those two issues are kind of separate. So this is a president that was not really engaged in the negotiations. So it's not really surprising that he seems to be confused by what's in the actual legislation.
I don't know. I mean, he is the president. He should understand how this stuff works. So it's still surprising, I think, to me. But you know what? You're absolutely right. This type of thing was actually circulating all evening online before the president made these comments. And I'm seeing it continue to circulate today of people conflating COVID relief with just straight up government spending. So it does have a lot of people confused. Jordan, I wonder what it means for Republicans right now. Where does this leave Mitch McConnell and what are Republicans going to do? I mean, is it actually realistic that we could see $2,000 stimulus checks to Americans as the president and Democrats have called for?
Well, first of all, it's a slap in the face, really, to Mitch McConnell and the Senate Republicans who negotiated this bill, and I'll point out, with the approval of some of the president's top aides, including Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin, who he and Senate Republican leaders settled on the $600 number. And so now the president is saying, well, I don't like that, but he didn't really raise those objections during the process that we're aware of. And it also is a slap in the face to the two Republican senators down in Georgia who are facing re-election on January 5th, and those contests will decide who controls that chamber. They proudly voted for that measure and have been touting their votes as a wedge issue against their Democratic opponents. Now the president says this bill is a quote-unquote disaster. And so he's leaving those candidates out to dry at a critical time for their races.
So, Jordan, I just want to end.
Go ahead.
We only have a little bit of time left. I just want to end. Is there a chance that Americans will still get relief before the end of the year?
I think there is a chance. The president didn't specifically say that he was going to veto this, so there's a chance that he gets talked out of not signing it. But right now, there's just so much uncertainty, and the White House hasn't really signaled one way or the other what the president actually intends to do. Whether the Americans are going to get the $600 checks or $2,000 checks or whatever.
Bloomberg's Jordan Fabian. Jordan, it's always great when you join us. We really appreciate your time.